I'm doing well, sir. Thank you. That would be good. Really?
Properties, yep.
Anybody can hail your gene. Give a 5x5.
Yeah, so I think. All right, now my microphone's working. Welcome to the Blessed2Teach show. This is Rick, your host, and we are now live with sound. What an amazing technology we have here. You can tell I'm on the hotel working with a bunch of different equipment. I had the microphone working perfectly with Gene on the Zoom platform, and so he is ready to roll. But we are talking the Underground War, an update with Gene. This is a decode on the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases. As you know, we also have the Q updates. I mean, a lot of Q drops. I think like 15 drops came in just today. So quite exciting. We won't be able to get through all of this because we want to really drain and make sure you're updated on the great news that's happening in this underground war. Some also more proof that it's actually happening. So we'll get into that here in just 1 second. And so what are we looking at? We got a lot of people on talking about, you guys tell me where you guys are from. I'm probably going to skip that part because I got 5.5s going on and all kinds of other things. But you can hear me now, right? Hi, Troy. How you doing? So can't hear you, somebody says. Okay, let me look back here. I think that hopefully that was old comments because my mic looks like it's going really well right now. So guys, give me a 5.5. Give me a 17 if you can hear Rick. A 17 if you can hear Rick. I think we're good though. But Gene, how have you been doing lately?
I'm doing really well. Just doing lots of decoding and crunching and trying to get back in shape and catch up on stuff. So busy. And went to a Q meeting in Denver and freaked somebody out and they walked out on me. But, that's the nature of the truth, unfortunately. Not every, like you said, and I honored that. I said, my truth's not your truth. I honor your truth. And he said, yeah, likewise, and walked out. So I could, that's fine. The choice to know is yours.
Yeah. So I know that's it. And we're getting into some deep stuff now that Q's with Project Looking Glass and all these different things. And Q telling us we're not alone. And we're going to be going down some deep rabbit holes, I think, here over the next year. But boy, is it going to be fun when the deep state continues to get exposed, especially when we get command of the underground war as well. So I wanted to kind of quickly go to that because there's a lot to do. But before that, I wanted to go through a quick sponsor here. So we saw Castle Clean on 3782, and we got like 15 posts from Q that we'll get to as much as we can. But remember, this is healthwithrick.com is where you're going to go. This is probably the last time you're going to hear from these guys this month. But I tell you what, this is the way to really think about the fountain of youth, right? Collagen may be the closest thing you'll ever get to the real fountain of youth. The older you are, in fact, the more likely it's caught your attention for a good reason. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen is as crucial as it gets to renew and revitalize how you look and feel. After all, collagen is the most abundant protein in your body and is essentially the glue that holds your body together. In fact, after age 20, people produce about 12% less collagen in their skin each decade. For some, it's even greater decline. This means that by the time you're middle-aged, you could be producing less than half of the collagen you did in your youth. Even worse, various lifestyle factors may even you've been exposed to, like poor diet or smoking or pollution, stress, and excess sun exposure can deplete your collagen levels even faster. In short, This year-by-year escalating loss of collagen is a key reason people look old as they get older, and it explains why over time your skin sags and wrinkles, your hair gets thinner, nails lose their strength, joints become stiff, recovery from activity and exercise slows, digestion-related complaints seem to come out of nowhere, and in general, our bodies just seem to turn on us. So the benefits of using collagen, it makes your skin healthy and supple and gives you that youthful look, makes it the hair healthy and look young looking, supports joint flexibility, strengthens nails, teeth, and gums, promotes strong, healthy muscles, tendons, and ligaments, promotes strong bones, support digestive health, promotes healthy appetite management. So again, you're going to go to healthwithrick.com, see what Dr. Matthews Roberts got a lot of information and details here on collagen and what it can do for you. All right. Again, a lot of new Q came here about emails exposing what Obama knew about the Bidens and a lot of other stuff we're going to get to in a second. But I really want to focus on the updates from Gene. He took this Word document that, again, I'll have in the show notes, really get into the details of what's happening here. I'm going to close this old one that I had here. Make sure we have this. And so this is the Dumb and Tunnel Code update on January 23rd, 2020. And Gene, I'm going to kind of hand this over to you because you know which things you want to emphasize. So he took the whole document, pretty much just updated it. And so you want to go ahead and roll?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Patriots. Your prayers have the enemy in retreat and vast disarray. Prayers are power of God, and that goes with our Patriots and our military, and are helping them vastly in this great underground war. The war beneath our feet goes well for the army of God, and the U.S. Army is gearing up for the fray. So we can see that in this video. Go ahead and click that, Rick.
Yeah, now, so I've already got it open here because I wanted to show you guys. This is an amazing video, by the way, guys. Here, I'm just gonna, this is a whole 4-minute video. It's a great video, so I recommend you listen to it all, but you wanted to get people to like 55 seconds, but let's just watch the first 55 seconds or so.
Watch the first minute and it'll be great, Rick.
Nation states.
So sorry, guys. You can tell my hotel here, I didn't have things set up correctly. I'm going to go a little bit further.
Aid detection and operate against
there's underground bases right there.
The Rapid Equipping Force, or REF, based at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, traveled to the Muscatatuck Urban Training Center in February as part of a continuing effort to develop tools that will help soldiers fight and win in the subterranean, or sub-T, environment. Sub-T environments can be as confined as a hand-dug tunnel and scale up to be as large as an underground city with complete infrastructure. They can be so dark that standard night vision...
So did you hear that? It can be as large as an underground city. Let's play that again. I'm going to back it up a little bit. Listen right at 55 seconds what it says.
Scale up to be as large as an underground city with complete infrastructure.
With complete infrastructure. Gene, that's the main thing you wanted to get at here, although this continues to be a great video that I would recommend everybody watch. But anything else that you wanted to emphasize here?
Yes, sir. A lot of the attacks I've gotten is people saying that DOMs are a ridiculous idea. There's only a few, like Cheyenne Mountain, Mount Weather, and Greenbrier, and a few others, and all over the country is ridiculous. And yet here's the Army gearing up for complete underground cities, which none of those I just mentioned are. And the Army is gearing up because the vastness of this underground war, if you follow that California seismograph site, capital C-A, capital S for seismograph, and go on the USGS link and watch the earthquakes, especially like the ones in Oklahoma recently, where you have earthquakes in places where they haven't happened in 80 years. And this dumb war is for real, and the special forces are just getting thinned out, strung out, because it's so vast all over the world. They're doing this all over the world. We'll see it in the Decode tonight. And so they have asked Trump and the alliance to add more military personnel. So both the Army, as you see here, have gotten $572 million to create a tactical warfare group it's called AWG, which is in all platforms, so that they can help the Special Forces, the Army Rangers, and the Navy SEALs go in there, and the Green Berets, as well as the U.S. Navy is joining in that. And that's, we'll see in the op here, or in the, excuse me, the decode here, I think of ops, are going to already doing a blackout of the entire southeast coast of the United States, which has many purposes. One of them is to take out some dumps.
Yeah, and they call it ST, right? Subterranean. So that's clearly underground is what they're talking about, right?
Yes, indeed.
So subterranean means underground, and it's just amazing to see some of the pictures here. Some of the stuff I grabbed, I think, was right around here for my thumbnail of this.
That was a really nice. You're going to see really nice total recirc air systems where they're completely able to continue breathing. It literally
this is my
filters the air, but it also creates oxygen for them.
Yeah, this is what I use for my thumbnail right here. I thought that was so cool. Showing underground radar, all these people underground, right? Breaking through things underground.
Yeah, super dark vision systems.
Mm-hmm. And like right here, this is interesting because there's a before and after, right? You can see people through the wall. You can't see people through the wall. So and the regular old night vision doesn't work underground, right? You have to have specialized equipment because there's zero light down there.
It's actually using infrared from body heat, as well as they actually additionally have neutrino detectors, so they can see energy, that everything is lit up by neutrino, so they can actually see the neutrino, which lights up everything like you're seeing there. That's a combination of infrared and neutrino.
All right. So let's just listen to these new recruits, what they're saying real quick.
Operate and move a team through a sub-T environment.
And just generally have more situational awareness.
You never know what environment you're going to be in. Snow, rain, heat, even under a tunnel.
Through our continuing partnership with the AWG, this exercise will inform the total force, help solve the capability gap of operating in a sub-T environment, and equip a future unit operating in dense and urban terrain.
There you go. Great video, Gene. So here we are right here. Just finished watching that. Do you want to?
Yeah, it's a great reference, and it really shows what's going on. And if you, it's called the asymmetric because it means that you can both fight on the ground and below the ground, so it's asymmetric. Like I said, it's being funded for $572 million because the Special Forces have asked POTUS if they could have more help. And there are some more links that people can look at that have a write-up on that. And that NIE 14.1, if you put that in a search engine like DuckDuckGo, you can pull up as a PDF file the entire military paperwork on that. If you're not used to reading military paperwork, it's kind of dry, and we used to say, great if you're insomniac to read, put you to sleep real quick.
That's right. And then there's other links back on the Word document as well, right? So there's like 3 or 4 here that all bring up different.
Just so people know, I don't make this up. I've been blamed for that. I'm the greatest storyteller the world's ever seen.
$500 million to train soldiers to wage war underground. Look at that date. All right. So that is, there it is, another article, just making sure that everybody understands that this is real. Here's another article here on Amazon.
That's a book you can buy. I didn't make this up. Phil Snyder and I are not the only ones that have ever talked about this. You can go buy a book here or get it off of Kindle or buy it from Amazon and read it hard copy.
Interesting. All right. Anything else you want to emphasize there?
Now, here's some pictures just to reiterate to people about what we're talking about.
Look how big those are. Big, huge highways underneath, isn't there?
Look how far that goes.
Yeah.
For those that didn't think they have 5-star resorts down there.
Yeah, that's like a hotel, right? And with big, huge elevators going up. I don't know.
Much bigger than most hotels I've stayed in, but maybe I'm not 5-star, I guess.
Yeah, 50, 60 stories at least, it looks like.
Hmm. And this they found off the coast of California. It's a submarine underwater base. Off of Point Magoo, they found the entrance for the submarine tunnel going, the one that connects from the one coming from Coos Bay. That's the coordinates there for those that want to go deep dive it. There's a map of where it is related to the ground plan, shoreline. Remember the map there. That's a great map to overlay on top of the USGS earthquake site. So you can see that one in the upper corners of Oklahoma. If you go look at the earthquakes this month, you'll see earthquakes in exactly those 2 dots in Oklahoma, as well as those ones on the north and the western tip of Texas for where you are, Rick. You can see earthquakes there. Then we're talking about the blackout in southeastern U.S., and you can see the dumbs in those areas in Georgia. There's also ones that aren't on this map, but are on other ones, as well as the train line that goes up through the San Bernardino Valley and all that, where all the big farming and ranching and growing is done in California. You can see that train line. And you can see earthquakes over the last month literally going all the way up that, collapsing that entire line, as well as the one going out that we just saw, that line going out to the West Coast. That's going out to Point Magoo and those areas in there. And then you also have right there smack in the middle of China Lake, which was destroyed. Then in the Four Corners region, you see that. We're going to be talking about that in the Decode tonight, that big, huge dome there with the big red dot right on the Four Corners, as well as the one in DIA, the one in San Luis Valley, the one out under Book Cliffs Range, the one up underneath Fort Collins. All of those are the one out in Idaho. All of those are gone now. They've taken them out. The one up in Riverton, Wyoming, that's being fought for now. 2 out in Nebraska. So a lot of this is going on right now, and a lot of it's already been taken and done with.
Beautiful.
And in regards to that, this is the great map, and this is the one the guy goes, oh, tunnels all over and bounds everywhere. It's the greatest construction project in human history, impossible. Think about the fact, if you don't believe these figures, 800,000 children go missing a year in just the U.S. Go to your local precinct, pull up the last have them get the last quarter, then take that out per capita across the U.S. over a year. That's how many people. That's been happening since the 50s. They've got 3rd generation down there. If they're sacrificing half of them, turning another half of the leftover for Markle to in-time programming into the cities, they still have millions of people down there to do this that have been down there 2nd and 3rd generation all their life. They don't have ever even seen the light of day. You've got plenty of manpower for this, and they have those high-tech boring machines that go very quickly, as well as neutron bombs where they can build a dome in a matter of 2 months. They drop a high-tech, high-speed boring machine that bores a vertical shaft down to the depth they want. Then they drop a nuke down it, neutron bomb, blows up, no residual radiation. Do some cooling fans down there, get it to cool, come in, build the infrastructure. 2 months later, you got a dome.
Yeah. And there's all that trillion. AJ Steverson says, there's your 21 trillion debt at work. It's actually all the black projects, right? That all the missing trillions from the Pentagon, right?
You have the missing trillions, plus you got the black ops money, the drug money, the trafficking money. You've got massive money. So, where would the money come from this? We already went into the manpower. That's where the money comes from. You've got it all.
All right, here's a USGS site. I don't know if you want me to open up all these or not, Gene. Just let me know.
Yeah, that's the California seismograph. You got the link there. You click on that one that says live now. You get live updates. When you click on that, as you see there, you can see where the map is and the rotating map. If you want a flat map, you go down to the bottom of that website, which has 2 fantastic links. You have the USGS link, which if you click on that, that'll take you to a drag and drop map. So you can zoom in and out.
The raspberry, or do you want me to go down further?
USGS right there. Earthquake USGS.
Right there. Okay. Yeah, this
So
is the one
there
that
you
you were
have,
showing
you can
me.
see there's the one we're talking about. There's the one I just told you about in Texas, right there. You click on that, it'll give you the information, latitude, longitude, magnitude, time of that quake.
Right.
And you can see them
And
all over the world. You can drag, zoom in, like you said, see Rick doing there, and if he zoomed out, you can drag it around, go wherever you want.
this gives you all the information right here about each one of these, no matter where you are. And
Yep.
this is one of those things where it doesn't work real well for me because I'm
And you can see the earthquake off of what I was talking about the other time off the coast of Petropavlovsk and Kamchatka Peninsula, where they're going into the Kamchatka River plant up in Russia.
yeah. So now this by the way, use your plus and minus to actually right here to go up and down. I was noticing that I was having a lot of problems before I started doing this.
Also, you can go to your settings here. This is the last 24 hours, anything 2.5 above. You could say the last 7 days, the last month, 5.0 above, like you saw Rick do just there. You can select your settings. You can get more or less of information over a greater or less time frame. It'll warn you if you picked a huge window.
Okay. So I had something that was going to be a little bit too much, right?
Yeah,
So
it'll still display it. It'll just take longer for your updates.
yeah,
You'll
show
hear a
them
little
something I don't
kind
know.
of nice musical chime every time an update comes in.
Yeah, and so sometimes some of these actually, Gene, were you're saying there's earthquakes happen that haven't happened in 65 years happening, which is most likely a dumb
One
Venus.
out in Oklahoma, there hasn't been an earthquake there in 80 years.
These here.
Yep.
Wow.
There's no fault line. There's nothing in there. And it's a very stable part of the country, part of the planet.
Yeah. That is interesting. So so obviously not all of these, but some of these could very
See
well.
that line in California where you have that little line of yellow going up right through the what we had on the map there?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. That is really interesting. And that's when I get back to the Word document.
Of course, like they say,
like
coincidence, right? At what point does it become mathematically impossible?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is like that one in West Texas you were talking about, and the two over here in Oklahoma.
The two in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, so you can kind of
right
say
outside Tulsa, another up in the far corner. That's, as we'll see in the decode here, the ATA and the other base there in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so you have another link here to a YouTube video. It's trying to take me away from YouTube. I'm not sure what that message is. See if this gets to me to it. Okay, yeah, you already showed us that.
Yeah, also on the bottom of that site for people of interest, and we did this on Backstage, you can go to the Raspberry Shake, and that shows you the world without oceans, and you can drag and zoom in and out. Really good, interesting things go to between
this right here. Yeah, this is really interesting.
Between the corner of South America and Antarctica, all the way around Antarctica and up in the Bahamas to the Bimini Road, and you can see all of those ancient features all the way, quay walls and piers all the way around the coast of
yeah, that is real interesting. Go Backstage if you have Backstage, and make sure you go look at that and look at the exclusive, and you'll see when Gene and I are preparing for a future show. That was shocking to me to see all that stuff. I tell you, I'm getting red pilled like every day on more and more stuff. It's just amazing. So Phil McConnell, here you are. Here, Gene, you want to continue?
Yes.
So especially check out the earthquakes in Oklahoma the last 30 days where there was not an earthquake in the last 80 years. Mr. Phil O'Connell comments on the DUMS at 2:10.
And for Amanda, I'll be going through the list here shortly. Don't worry.
Good morning.
Amanda Jamos.
Nancy Pelosi owns Goat Hill Pizza in San Francisco. You really can't make this stuff up. Owned by Goat Hill Incorporated, based out of Panama. Coincidence? I don't think so. Learned at multiple levels of deep underground tunnels, not only are they domestic, but intercontinental. Maglev, high-speed trains, boom. Okay, maglev, I think that's magnetic levitation, and anybody who hears this that knows what a maglev high-speed train is, feel free to educate me. There are underground railroads that are centered in the Four Corners area, and for those of you outside the United States, the Four Corners area is where the states.
So you're not the only one talking about this, Gene. That's the point of that, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Did you want me to go any further on that?
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Would everybody give me a 17? I have a comment in the show from Greg Carmo that I'm having volume issues. Is anybody else having volume issues with me?
Yeah, I can tell right now your volume looks really good, Gene, by looking at
It might be just you, Greg.
Yeah, so that looks really good for your volume. All right, 17s if Gene is sounding good. Let's keep on rolling here. So here's the Navy link here. I've got really good internet here, and I paid just $5 extra to get the fast speed, so better than yesterday when I was in the hotel. Here we go.
Yeah, this military exercise to wipe out widespread GPS, partly they're doing bombing runs on the Everglades in Florida, and up in Oklahoma they're draining some areas, as well as for the Virginia, the item with the gun rally, they wanted to, the governor wanted to bring up personnel that needed GPS to be able to come up and interfere, what they call DAR, UN troops. And without the navigation ability, they weren't able to get there. So that's why it turned out to be, partly why it turned out to be peaceful, as well as a lot of good prayer.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a lot of great updates here. GPS blackout in order to make cover for air strikes on DUMBs throughout the area. Bunker buster bombs. F-18 fighters to drop live bombs on Florida swamp this weekend. That's just continuing what you were talking about before, right?
Yes.
Look at how the white hats are doing. Remember, italics means now under white hat control or neutralized by white hats. For those that do not understand why latitude and longitude are provided, it is not to make this sound official. You cannot enter the name of a dumb and Siri and expect any result. That's based on somebody's idiotic, I guess, criticism of what we're doing here.
I said I was giving latitude, longitude like you hear to make it sound like I'm so official. And then you could just enter into Siri, any military base. Right, try one that's underground, that the entrance is the side of a mountain that's been hologram. You can't even see it. It's some dirt road in the middle of nowhere. Enter that in Siri. Take me to the Brooks Range dump.
Yeah. It's not going to have that in there, is that?
No.
All right. How else?
So you need to go old school. You need to have latitude and longitude and use reconnoitering and go to that lat long. So we'll go through the dumps now. Alaska, anything again that I read that's in italics, and I'll just say italics, that means it's been cleared and under white hat control. That means everything in Alaska, the Brooks Range and the two in the Delta and Fort Greely area, which is the same as the Delta Junction area. Arizona, Fort Waka, that's italics.
Look at all those italics. Look at all those italics.
Yeah, I'll say if it's not italics, it'll be easier because most things are italics now. Fort Huaca or Huayachua, or however, sorry, I can't speak Spanish that well. Luke Air Force Base, Gates Pass Base, Gila Mountain area, Grand Wash Cliffs, Green Valley, Hulapai Mountains, I think I have that right, I'm not sure. Rincon Mountain. Then the ones that are not cleaned are Mount Lemmon, Page. Page is underneath the Hoover Dam, by the way, as well. Safford, Santa Catalina Mountains. And then Sedona is in italics, as is Wikiup and Yucca, and that's a ammo storage, but they have a dump from underneath that. I know when round and round with somebody, it's only in ammo storage. They use that nuclear ammo storage to do their Delta troops to enhance them. Some of the enhancements they do with genetic modification. I know it's going to sound insane, and you need to do your research through Mark Ultra. I can send you the document on that if you'd like. Arkansas, the vicinity of Hardy and Cherokee Village, that's italics, and Pine Bluff, so that means all of Arkansas is clean. California, we saw before the 29 Palms Marine Base operation where they cleared that, as well as the earthquake at China Lake. That's completely cleared now, and the kids are gone, and they then collapsed that. I got an update on that. They rescued the children and the people that surrendered. Those who didn't, they went ahead and shut it down with the nuke, and they killed 16,000 people who were demonic and evil people that would not surrender, and they died in that. And that's their choice. They were given the opportunity, surrendered, they didn't. Darwin is in italics. Deep Springs in italics. Fort Irwin is not. That's not cleaned yet. That's a detainment camp. Edwards Air Force Base is also in italics. George Air Force Base is not. Hellendale is italics. Under all of Los Angeles is in italics. Mount Shasta is not. Kern River is not. Napa Valley is, and that's where they're grabbing people who like to go through Napa Valley and sipping wine, and they sign ledgers and logs in there, and they see you don't, they research you, see if you don't have any family or anybody miss you, they grab you. That's now clean. Norton Air Force Base still needs to be taken care of, as well as Quincy. Near Palmdale, the Palmdale Boulevard area is the entrance. That's in italics, as well as the Presidio, and that's part of what we saw, the fires going all the way down to Porter Ranch, and that's the as well as the Ridgecrest area, and that was a submarine entrance coming from under the bridge area in Oakland. That's all in italics, and that's all the clean out we saw with the smoke and the flames. And he goes, oh yeah, that's methane gas fires. Really, I've never seen a methane gas fire in place, especially places like India and Mexico City, where you have to hold your breath when you're in 15 feet of the thing, and yet they don't catch on fire. It's the good old methane gas and swamp gas.
Yeah.
Tried and true, they never end. Okay, scroll up please, Rick. Then we have in italics San Bernardino. That was the earthquakes we saw recently there. As Santa Barbara County is not clean, Santa Rosa is. Tehachapi Ranch is not, Trona is, Benicia is, Catalina Island is, Chocolate Mountains and Death Valley are not. Scroll up, Rick.
By the way, that was that sound you heard was the actual website updating. Right, so this live earthquake thing, right?
Yeah, you might want to click that off now so you don't get interrupted again, Rick.
Yes, I think there it is, live Earth rating here, and this thing here.
That's your little update coming in.
Yeah, so that was an update of the earthquakes. Switch back. There we go.
Then Lancaster, Lawrence, Moreno Valley, and Needles are not under control. Mount Lassen, Palmdale are, as well as Cocoweef, and then Tehachapi and Ukiah are not under White Hat control. In Colorado, Alamosa, Book Cliffs area, Boulder, Colorado, Fort Collins, NORAD Center, DIA, Denver, Grand Mesa, Montrose, Delta, San Juan Valley, Warden Valley, West Fort Collins, and Montrose are all now under White Hat control. The ones that are not in Colorado are Creed, Falcon Air Force Base, and the Gore Range and Telluride areas. Though that's why you see the drones flying around. It's not because of tactical nukes that they're looking for that were taken out somewhere. Those can be tracked from space and located in a tenth of a second within a millionth of an inch in accuracy. That nuclear signature can be found miles deep. Those drones have neutrino detectors. Look at the little ball on the front end. That's a neutrino detector. It's to detect beings that are escaping from the dumps when they're taking them out. They're coming out through secret entrance exits, and they're rounding those up. Yeah, that would have like holograms in stealth suits, and they're rounding them up and collecting them. The beings that have escaped the dumps, the many dumps, including the Grand Mesa areas, Big Huge, and all that Four Corners region we're talking about earlier.
Wow.
As well
Colorado's
as
looking good.
San Luis Valley under the Great Sand Dunes, which was a very ancient deep base. That's all clean now. In Connecticut, the Northwest Connecticut one, that's now under White Hat, as well as the one we talked about in Hurricane Dorian, Port St. Lucie, and now also Eaglin. So all of Florida is clean, except for they're doing some of the tunnels with the what we just covered, the buster bombs, bust the dumb tunnels down. Mm-hmm. In Georgia, none of that's clean yet. That's part of what they're shutting down the tracking systems to get that Georgia stuff. That's where they're working on. There's 3 in the Atlanta area. There's 1 under Thomasville, and there's another one under Dobbins Air Force Base. Out in Hawaii, you have the Alamana Crater and Hana, and you've seen a lot of earthquakes. Part of that in Hana is due to the ongoing volcanic activity. Also part of that's dumps being taken out. And when I was stationed there in 1990, they were actually offloading all the nuclear submarines that had been neutralized because they wanted to create a nuclear war, and the White Hats neutralized all nuclear weapons on Earth. Mm-hmm. And so I followed a flatbed semi with 2 nuclear missiles taken off of a SSBN. That's a ballistic missile nuclear submarine. And I followed that into the Alamana crater. And I'm like, wow, how's he going to turn around? That's very small, curvy roads in there. He's going to get in there and get stuck. And he drove right into the side of the crater. Mm-hmm. That's those hologrammed entrances. And I'm like, I didn't know about him back then. I'm like staring. I'm like, what? He drove right into the wall. I was like, wow. Okay, I just learned something new. In Idaho, we have.
That's some of the technology that we haven't really talked much about, but crazy stuff that I think we're going to learn about that these guys have, this technology that we're going to have available to us for good purposes versus the evil, right? Hopefully soon.
Indeed. In Idaho, we have under White Hat control the Lower Goose Lake area and south central Idaho, and the Twin Falls area is part of that. That you could see the earthquakes that happened in there 3 months ago and 2 months ago. In Indiana, not under control are Bedford, Lawrence area, and Kokomo. So nothing under Indiana is in control. In Kansas, under control is Atchison, the Kinsley, and the Hutchinson. And you can see earthquakes in the Hutchinson area. Not under control are the Fairview and Kansas City area, under Kansas City itself. In Maryland, Camp David, below Fort Meade, Olney, and Suitland are under control. The only thing remaining in Maryland is the Edgewood Arsenal. I actually have been emailing with a lady whose family has been involved in that mess up there. In Massachusetts, that's cleaned out. That's Maynard. In Michigan, Battle Creek is cleaned out, as well as under Lake Superior, as well as Gwinn. And that makes so that now all of Michigan is under control, and they're now working their way up under Lake Superior and Lake Ontario into Canada. In Missouri, that hasn't been dealt with at all yet. We were talking about south of Lebanon, based there, the one in Bat Dry, Deadman, Howell Cave area, and the St. Francis Mountain area, as well as Montana is still not under control. That's in Bozeman. And in Nebraska, those aren't dealt with yet either. Those are north central Nebraska area and the Red Willow near McCook. In Nevada, they just finished taking this out this week. That's the Blue Diamond, the Groom Lake facility. They did a whole huge thing, and that's Dreamland Area 51. That is a huge, huge gain for the White Hats. That's a lot of their high tech there was taken out, as well as the 2 connections bases that were connected to Groom Lake. Which is they call it's the Papoose Range and Cockeyed Ridge area, which are the, scroll up there please, Rick, which are the S4, S6, S66 base. And that's one of their most secret and most deep bases. You can see there, it goes 29 levels deep, 11,300 feet. Also now, currently, they're getting ready to go into Tonopah, Quartzsite, Blue Diamond, Fallon Air Force Base, and then still remaining to be worked on later will be Mercury and San Gabriel. In New Hampshire, and we covered this a little bit before, there were 3 underground bases, and a lady wanted to know very specifics, so I did some research deeper into that. That's the entrance and Keene there. You can see that they love their symbols. Symbols will be their downfall. There's the little owl from Google Earth. That little sand pit up to his left corner of his ear, that's where they would go in.
Right here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You see the baseball field there, and then a couple for the eyes.
Yeah.
And up above where that yellow circle kind of cross over itself, you can see a sand pit kind of arid gravel area, and they go in there. That's a hologrammed area.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is called, the dome there is called Wheel Lock. It's the tunnel entrance. The gematria for if we do Wheel Lock, it comes out to read Jack the Ripper, or ATT soul scalping itself. The English, that's the Jewish gematria. The English comes out to submerge Snowden, and that dome goes up under what is called Monadnock Mountain. And the gematria for the Monadnock comes out. The knock means, and is a term actually that means when you have an arrow, like I do crossbow and I do compound bows and regular as well as recurves. It's the notch that's on the 2 horns of the bow. And then also as well, it's the notch in the bowstring that the arrow fits into the bowstring with. And the Monadnock in Jewish gematria is 228, and in English is 540. And so if we do that, the meaning 228 is the meaning of life. It also means draconian. It means look here battle. Chisamba Obama, which was a battle that was fought in which Obama caused a lot of people to die. You can do DuckDuckGo and read that. It also means Shinar, which is one of Lucifer's names. Coming race, alien beings, El Gog and Mgog. That's the battle of Gog and Magog in the Bible. It also means God is here. I am Churin. Churin is another name of Satan. So he's saying, I am here. Spell God. Spelling is incantations. That's black magic. Spell God. God is here. I'm Churin. In other words, spell God, bring up Satan, etc. All that dark, voodoo magic, black magic stuff. The blue owl means also blue owl Elgog, and El is a term for angelic, whether it's fallen or not. And Mgog, which goes back, as I was saying, to the Gog-Magog war that's in the Rapture. And Osama Obama, as I was indicating, is that in battle in Zambia, where 53 people were killed due to berry. And then it also goes to Cherry. Chiron was a centaur, and Chiron is another name, as I'd said, for Satan, as well as Satan has up to a total of 72 names. That's why the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill has 72 bricks. And that is, some of them are that people are probably familiar with, are Baal, Moloch, Belus, and he's also known as the Draconian god, or the god of Draco. It also the god of one god of Draco, of the Draco law. It's also the severe codes of Draco, as they famed him. It also means cruel or severe, because he's known as the cruel, severe god. And then it goes, the entrance for that dome also comes from underneath Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, so they can bring up the Connecticut River submarines into that by going under the water. Most rivers in the world have huge rivers underneath them that go underground. And there's those are the 3 underground installations in New Hampshire. Then in New Jersey, we have Pickney. That's still in the dark cats, as well as in New Mexico. Most everything in New Mexico, because it's so massive. I mean, New Mexico's almost the whole state is underground now, dump. So you have all pretty much interconnected. Dulce, the White Sands, which is now 3 interconnected dumps that were White Sands and Alamogordo, as well as all the way up into Albuquerque, down to Dattel and Pie Town, the Carlsbad Caverns area, although that part has been neutralized, as well as Los Angeles Taos and Angel Peak, and Kirtland and Manzano Mountains and Pie Town and Sandia Mountains and northwest of Taos and White Sands and Sunspot, which are all still under the dark cats. The only thing they've cleaned up just recently, they finished a small part of the Carlsbad area, so that can be changed to italics, as well as Cordova is now cleaned out. In New York, the Adirondack.
You said White Sands is cleaned out?
No, the Carlsbad Cavern area. It's not the cavern itself. It's underneath the cavern. More caverns are there.
I got you.
In New York, the Adirondack Mountains and the New York metro area is clean. That's how they got Jeffrey out of there up to Greenland. And that's cleaned out now and under white hat control. The Plattsburgh area in New York, however, is not, as well as the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio are not. In Oklahoma, now both these bases are clean. That's the earthquakes we were talking about before, which is Ada and Ashland. So and you got the coordinates. You can take that to the map and see the earthquakes that were there this week.
I can turn those italics?
Yep, including Oklahoma itself. It's completely clean.
All right. Great news. Yeah, you're doing that, actually putting the whole state?
Yeah, I do the whole state when the whole state's done.
All right. Good news.
That's what I was talking about. That's the area where they haven't had an earthquake in 80 years. Mm-hmm. In Oregon, most of that's still in dark cat control, which the only thing that's not is the Cave Junction area and near Hope Mountain and Applegate. What's still needing to be taken care of is the Coos Bay. It has 3 separate entrances. They've identified and taken one of the 3. There's the Bull Run and Crater Lake and Klamath Falls and Weimar, which still need to be worked on. In Pennsylvania, they still need to work on Blue Ridge, which is called Fort Ritchie or Raven Rock or just Site R, and Raven, which is near Langonier, and that's still under the dark hat control. Go ahead and page up, Rick. Thank you. And that's a picture of Raven Rock I got from Google Earth. It gives you an idea of the tunnel entrance. In Texas, they've cleaned out Denton. These are some of the earthquakes we saw in Fort Stockton. What remains is Fort Hood, Red River Arsenal, Calvert, and Fort Hood. In Utah, that's all in italics, which is Dugway and the Kennecott Copper Company, and that's part of where the Latter-day Saints Church, the Mormons, kept all their gold. That's now repatriated to the U.S. Treasury. That was a lot of gold. So we have the gold, as Q said, about 100 times over now. Virginia is completely clear. That includes Blue Mount Weather Base, and this is a picture of that from Google Earth. There, Rick, page up a little, please, sir. Thank you. That's Blue Mount Weather. It's a relocation site for the high levels of U.S. and civilian leaders in a case of a national emergency, and it's known as Mount Weather. It's goes back into the 40s. They set that up a long time ago. It's now under White Hat control, as well as Pentagon and Arlington. And then Culpeper and Mount Pony are not cleaned up. However, Treasure Island, as we saw with the Hurricane Dorian Decode, that was cleaned up, and they cleaned out all the mess in there as well during that time with the cover of Hurricane Dorian. In Washington, Mount Rainier and Bothell still need to be worked on and still under Dark Hat control. In Washington, D.C., of course, the White House, as they said,
Castle
Satan has left the White House.
Yeah.
And so that's clean.
Castle clean.
The castle is clean. And so that Q post with the castle is clean has a triple meaning. You see that he is standing behind two Marines. One Marine has a smile. They found a Russian spy on the right. The king is behind, or the president is behind. So in chess, you would say your king is behind your castles, because you've done in chess what's called a castling maneuver. You can only castle when your king in chess is not under check. You can also not castle through check. The area between the rook, the castle, and the king have to be clear. You cannot move through check, and you cannot wind up in check. It means this king is now tucked back in the corner behind the pawns, and you can use your rooks or your castles to come out. So the one guy's done his job. He's got a smile on his face. The White Tower is often called the White House, is now clean from the Russian spy. The other one's grim and determined, because we got a war underground that we're fighting, and he's looking down. He's got his hat down. He's fighting the war down there. He's grim and determined. We're going to get it done. So you got a triple meaning there.
Awesome.
Quite often when you see Trump doing decode or doing code speak, or including Q, and ops like what's going in Florida, it's rarely just one thing. It usually has at least two, if not more, meanings. So then we go to West Virginia. That's the White Sulphur Springs. Of course, that's just a little tiny pathetic place where they put the houses in the case of a national emergency. That's White Sulphur Springs. Isn't Greenbrier Hotel, as they call it, is under White Hat control. And then Sugar Grove, which is the Navy's Strategic Intelligence Service microwave communication. They still need to work on that, as well as the Riverton area, and a confidential area that's still so massively difficult. They're still working on it, even since my last decode. That's in Wyoming, the Riverton, and a very classified one up in that area. In Puerto Rico, they just finished it. It has been having earthquakes for about 3 months in the San Antonio, as well as the Guayanaco, and which is east of Ponce. You saw a huge earthquake in which two firefighters found the warehouse full of water, Pampers, baby pacifiers, all that kind of thing. So luckily, at least now they can use it for the people that have had difficulties due to the earthquake, because they had to take out their dumb down there. But that was been left there since the hurricane. And they just hit it after Trump gave it to them. And then so their governor could say, he's not doing anything for us. He didn't send us anything. Yeah, he sent it to you. You put it in a warehouse and locked it shut. And then you parked a bunch of semis full of food that's now rotten, and rats have eaten it, and it can't even be used at all, because you want to blame Trump for something he did and say he didn't do anything. In Canada now, we're going to go outside the United States. And we have a lot of those people up there in Canada. Thank you all for the wonderful emails. I know a lot of you up there have been asking questions, so here you go. We're talking the Great Lakes Triangle, under Lake Ontario, like I mentioned, which is in Montreal, Newfoundland, Ontario, Ottawa, Toronto, Calgary, all of under Toronto. There's a small opening for this going from the Parliament Street in downtown Toronto. That's where you go in. The entrance is between two apartment buildings. It leads to the tunnels via the sewers. They actually opened up the sewers larger to get in and make it a dumb entrance. The underground city beneath Toronto is centered under Gerrard Street and Church Street, which there's actually another entrance that I found since then. Above this area, a lot of people have reported strange magnetic occurrences centered around that Garrard Church area, streets area, and it's believed due to the powerful magnetic fields that are causing those weird magnetic effects, not just in the street area and the house, it's in the intersections and in the housing as well. It causes strange equipment failures and car accidents, and the Indians have reported this long ago. So this is a very ancient kind of demonic thing going on here. The Indians avoided, the natives up there avoided that area, as well as then, and of course all of this because the government up there is a total mess, is still under Dark Cat control, the Newfoundland area and the Nahini Valley, which is a 250 square mile dome. It's the southern end of Mackenzie Mountains in Canada. It lies almost 550 miles due west of Fort Simpson on the Mackenzie River of Northwest Canada, near the hot springs and sulfur geysers that keep the valley warm in that area. So they use it for hydrothermal to power the dome. It creates a year-round 30-degree delta temperature above what's around in the surrounding area.
Have another website update.
It makes it perpetually mist-covered with, foggy and misty like San Francisco often gets, which is great for going in and out of domes because you can't tell what's going on. Then you have the Brooks Range area, which is near the Schwatka Mountains, as well as Mount Greensboro and the Richardson Mountain areas, near area called Mount Har, or Hare or something. I don't know exactly how you pronounce it. In Mexico, Teotihuacan is cleaned out, as well as Mexico City. What is left is the La Boya Cave, which is in the Zapoteca region. And that's a very ancient demonic place as well. The natives down there avoided that too. In Chile, these are now neutralized, both Diego de Almagro, and there's some areas they know south of there's some dumps south of that they're working on, and the San Antonio de los Cobre. In England,
this is neutralized as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, but I don't italics Chile because they know there's at least 5 more, maybe 6 more dumps south of that area.
Wow.
Those areas. Yeah,
Okay.
It's pretty nasty down there. In England, all of this is still mostly in Dark Cat control, is the Brentwaters, the Meredith Hill, which is an NSA facility, the Rudlow Manor, which is just outside of Bath in southern England. That's since the Roman days, by the way, that was a dome. Staffordshire, Suffolk, and in Wales, the Brecon Beacons area in the Grenada Islands. It's under the entire islands. The Grenada Islands with Canberra are the most 2 important domes on Earth. That's the power system. They put a big, huge wire in a mile-deep hole with a bunch of, like you do with a battery. And as the Earth turns, it creates an electromagnetic field that they then use to tap into, like a giant generator. They use the entire turning of the Earth. And so that's why when the Falkland Islands, and I don't think I put the Falklands in here, but the Falkland Islands, they went down there with an armada to take it back from a bunch of sheep herders. That's rather important. It's not about sheep. In Australia, I've actually heard from some shaman medicine people down there that are native, the Aboriginal groups down there that have remote viewed this. So a lot of this comes from them. It's a 13th floor, but I do know it's used for black ops, space tracking, genetic, dew energy research. That's a massive, massive part of the deep state, as well as under Canberra. Again, that's the one tied to the Falkland Islands and Grenada that use that power system. And then if you go into Canberra, you can see with Google Earth, you can see some of the satanic symbology on Google Earth from that, looking down on Canberra. In Mount Zeal as well, and Snowy Mountains. In New Zealand, it starts at Te Anau, and it goes pretty much in several locations I'm not yet have been able to get intel on. And in Papua New Guinea, it's under Kokopo. And then there's one in the Fiji Islands I found out, but I don't know where yet. And Indonesia has been neutralized, the one there that was in Sumlaki. In New Caledonia, that's been neutralized. That's the Isle of Hunter. In Russia, there's the most massive one they had, which is still in, as far as we know. It's hard to get information out of Russia. If any of things that they're cleaned up, we don't know. The big one they had, which held up to 120,000 people, was Raminki. You also had one in Yamaton Mountains in the Belarusk area in the southern Urals, as well as the tundra area of the peninsula of Kola. In Siberia, near the Chatanga rivers, where the Chatanga the Kotuja, and the Chetami. And then you also had the Igrivna, or Igvna, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't speak Russian, sorry. In Sweden, there's the Gotland Island. And in Scandinavia, there's Narvik. In Switzerland, Mount Blanc. None of these are under white hat control as far as I'm aware of at this time. In Greenland area, Cape Canaveral, but the ice worm base is not a dome under the earth. It's the dome under the massive ice cap under that's where they're holding, Barry, who surrendered and couldn't take Big Mike anymore, as well as Hillary, what's left of her being in storage there, gold storage. And then in Africa, for the people that have been asking me, all of Southern Africa is essentially a dome. But you also have the Nyala Range and west of Kindu. In Egypt, you have next to the Libyan border a dome somewhere in that area. In Iran, that was taken out during the affair with the Iraqi embassy. That was a cover. They also used it to take out the dome that was under the nuclear power plant 2 miles down. You had an earthquake under that nuclear power plant. They don't build nuclear power plants on fault lines for really obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So that's not a nuclear, a fault line giving an earthquake under a nuclear facility. They build domes under nuclear facilities because it's the perfect place to hide them, like they do under airports too. There's one in, by the way, I didn't put Bali in here. That was neutralized when my wife and I were down in Bali. There was a 5.4 underneath the airport in Bali. While we were there, they neutralized that one. In Malta, there's the Maltese Cave. That's still under Dark Hat. The Iwo Jima one in Japan has been neutralized, as well as Lushni in Albania. That's neutralized. That should be in italics, as well as Albania. And then in the Philippines, this was neutralized at the end of last year with a series of massive volcanoes. What they do is blew a hole in the side of the lava tubes and flooded this one with lava. They rescued the kids that were in there. It was, again, another Mark Ultra kind of thing going on down there. And in that process, they had first a 6.1, then a 6.4, then a 6.7. Your aftershocks don't get stronger, so that's man-made.
Yeah.
They did kill 26 people in a building, but those people were involved in procuring and selling and moving the kids around. In that area, I didn't read the name of it, Rick, was in the Mindoro Magsaysay, Davao, on the island of Mindanao. And I do speak Tagalog, so I got that pronounced right, which is the language of the Philippines, as well as some Ilonggo and Ilocano. In the North Pole area, you have what is called Pole A, which is the regulator for the communications of all the bases worldwide. Under Antarctica and under the ice, as well as under the earth, you have the Admiralty Mountains. You have Mount Levick, which is on top of the ice. You have the human experiments, and they make where they make bodies tough with genetic engineering. They also do that for radio interference and checking communications for the entire southern hemisphere, as well as highly sophisticated atomic reactor and unconventional atomics research. You also have another one in Antarctica and I don't know how to pronounce the O with the umfla probably correctly, that's Surundan Mountains. In Iceland, I don't speak Icelandic, so I'm gonna massacre this, I imagine. Jökulsárgljufur National Park. In Norway, you have the Finnmark Atomic Energy Research Dome. In Sweden, you have the Nordland, which is on the border, and you have Norrbottensland, which I don't speak Swedish either. So, if you do, you know how that's pronounced. I don't. And none of these are, as far as I know, in any of the countries, unless I say it's under white hat control, it's not. In Chile, again, these are some of the ones I found out that are neutralized now. That's why they're again listed. Thus, the area of Rio Pico, which is at latitude 44.5 degrees, I'm told. I don't know if that's absolutely correct, but it was neutralized. And another one north of Arroyo Peleg. In Argentina, you have the Corcovado, and west of the side of the province, in the area of the northern part of area of Lago Futalaquan. I don't know, I don't speak that either. You have the northern part of the province of area Villa de Maria, and in the San Juan area of Argentina, northwest of the province, in the area called Cerro Las Tortolas, which is a beautiful park area, by the way. There are two large bases there underneath that beautiful park, unfortunately. Then the fifth dome in that area in that country is north of the Maipo volcano. but it's not as high as the volcano area itself. It's far beneath that. And also in the sixth one is near the area of Cerro Aconcagua. And I do know I have that one, right? That's a mountaineering area where we go rock climbing. I do rock climbing.
Not many italics overseas yet, is there?
No, and that's a twin base there. So actually that should probably be 6 and 7 for number 6, and then 7 should be number 8, etc. You have the Jujuy, however you pronounce that province, as well as the area of Cafayete, and then the area of Sierra de Calalasta, north of the
Hold on, sorry, I was trying to do numbering, but it's not going to let me do it.
Of Catamarca. I need to see it because I can't pronounce this stuff anyway. I know where it is, I just can't pronounce any of it.
I gotta go find that website that's making all the noise. There it is.
Yeah, shut it down. It's distracting.
Yeah. All right.
And then in Spain, we have the Mount Perdido in the Pyrenees Mountains. That's between France and Spain. Mount Perdido and Mount Perdu, which is 11,700 feet, 11,007 feet high. It's the third highest mountain in the Pyrenees. There's a base under there, as well as the Loyoba Cave, and that's a very ancient and evil area as well. Then in Zambia, the island of Novaha, and in Zimbabwe, you have in the Mount, and I don't speak whatever this is, Yangani. It's a tubular grid system for ionizing layers of area in that part of Africa. They're experimenting with ionizing the air like HARP did, but releasing it from underground. Oh, joy. Mm-hmm. Another way to get around getting your harps taken away, huh? Okay, so I think we're done, but go ahead and bring it up, Rick. Thank you. So lastly, I would like to say Deuteronomy 28:52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou treadest throughout all thy land. He shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. Now, I don't care if you hide underground, we're going to get you. The White Hats, God wins every time, people.
That is right. That is exactly right. Wow, Gene, what a great update. Getting the international flavor in here, getting a ton of great news on a ton more bases taken over as this cabal's being destroyed. We already got them in space. Already got them pretty much. They're being taken down here on the ground, and now we're getting them underground. That's quite great news. And then obviously we have tons of Q we could go over, but we burned through over an hour already. I've been working here on the East Coast late hours and have to get up early in the morning to fly back to Dallas. So I tell you what, we will get to that tomorrow. So tomorrow there was a bunch. I'll just kind of quickly talk about this. We had the castle clean, and then we talk about what Obama knew. That's 383. Then we get into the declassification on the chain of command, and then we got what Trump's the whole storm, the Brexit approval, all kinds of things going to CrowdStrike right after Seth Rich got murdered and other people got murdered. Could the payments of literal hits be going through CrowdStrike? That's going to be something. We'll go over all this tomorrow. The Justice Department believes it should have ended surveillance of the Trump advisor earlier. Obviously, they should have. This is talking about the Page FISA. They shouldn't have done anything, and that's what it's talking about. It's talking about a source of the document shows that they shouldn't have any of the 4 FISAs should not have happened. Right? This was the whole Spygate operations being completely dismantled and shown. And we got new source documents that are going to be coming on with rubber bullet stinks, but do not last. So it's basically talking about when we actually find out about this a lot earlier than everybody else. Talking about quite a few things. We'll get into what they mean by the rubber bullets tomorrow. Here, watch the news. Ted Cruz was also spied on. So that's going to the public doesn't know that now. They know Trump was spied on. But now we're going to find out that Cruz was, but we knew that way before the public. Absolutely massive crowds at the streets of France. So this is worldwide. Remember the fake news said it was a gas tax? No, sheep no more. The Great Awakening is what's actually happening. We got exiting from Brexit. We've got now we've got the whole absolutely massive crowds in France again protesting the globalist Macron. You got Rudy Giuliani to reveal Democrat corruption in Ukraine and their plot to destroy the Trump campaign. So Rudy's doing some pretty cool things. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And then they even talking about, he put a definition for a state funeral that gets a lot of publicity. I think that means there's something like maybe Jimmy Carter or some other thing coming up that's going to try to distract us after, during the Republican, what can they give CNN and NBC and CBS to report on that they don't, for the excuse of not having to do the Republican rebuttal. Right? They're going to have to make a bunch of excuses to talk about something else besides the Republican rebuttal, because they just want you to listen to the Democrat side. So that's going to be real interesting to see what that all says. So again, we'll be live. I usually go live on Fridays at right around 5 to 5:30 Central Time. Tomorrow we'll go over all these and the great news that's happening here. Saturday we're going to be Gene will be back on with some of my Culture Impact System people like Scoob on here, and we'll be going over a great decode they did on Operation Mockingbird that's much more detailed than I've ever seen. That's going to be a great show. Next week we're going to get into the pineal gland with Gene. Backstage next week we're going to be going over some really cool stuff with Gene, including just Gene Unleashed. You can ask him anything. So again, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Blessed2Teach.com. This is where you're going to get all the show notes too. If you want the show notes for everything I just showed you with Gene, you will want to go here to the show notes. It'll probably be up tomorrow morning. Right? It's easiest just to sign up for the email list, because then I can send them to you. You'll get them right away. Also, you can just go to contact us if you want to actually send me an email, as well as join the email list all at one time. That's where you send me an email. That's where you will subscribe. Right? So those are two great things. Now here's what you want to do though. If you want to hear Gene next week on Gene Unleashed, and we'll go into deeper stuff than you just saw right now on the dumbs as well backstage. That gets into what I call level 4, 5, 6, 7, where it starts getting into a lot of deep subjects. Right? That a blue pill person would be completely scared to listen to, would discount us potentially. So if you want to go down some bunny holes, go backstage right here. And you can see you can easily just join us here with one of these buttons. It talks all about what you get, right? Now you can join us live backstage before and after when I'm in my studio. You can tell I'm in the hotel right now, not in the studio. You can use the Searchy platform, a beautiful high-speed cloud platform that will search every one of the videos. So if you wanted to see dumb decode, and you would find out every time Gene said something about a certain city, you would go to that portion of the video exactly. You can also search not only on all the shows, you can search on all the prophecies of Mark Taylor and the Trump prophecies, etc. You have exclusive content like the Gene Unleashed, as well as going over some deeper things on the 4 pillars of Satan and a lot of other things we've talked about. That's all 30% off right now. And again, instead of the $15 a month, you're basically down to $9.97. And if you do a yearly, you get 30% off that. And so basically you get 30% off twice, getting all the way down to around $7 a month if you do the year in advance. That's all in Backstage. So join us there. But again, there's a lot of front stage free stuff here. Once YouTube knocks me off, though, I'll be going on the Zoom platform live. The free will be at the bottom of my website. You will see BitChute. BitChute's the only place I'll be on that's for free. BITCHUTE. So make sure you follow me there. Last announcement is I have an editor now that's editing my clips down to his favorite. Each show, maybe 1 or 2 clips. He is doing a fantastic job, but it's going to be on a different site. It is going to be, once you go to YouTube, you're going to have to B2T clips. So if you want to see the clips that my editor's doing of his favorite stuff, again, you're going to go to B2T clips. And once you go to B clips, there you go. That is where I'm going to start posting all the clips. You see the first one's right there, the Virginia gun rally clip right here. Just 1 minute and 20 seconds. Some of them are like 5 to 7 minutes long. Has a new opening. Here we go. Welcome to the Blessed2Teach show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. Here goes. What is so striking? So that's a little 1 minute and 20 second clip. So again, It's a totally different channel. It's my old backup channel. B2T Clips is where we are going to be doing all the clips from now on. So that's all we have here, guys. We went an hour and 15 minutes or so. Sorry for the longer show, but Gene, thank you so much for everything you're doing. I would love to pray with you to end this up.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for Gene. Thank you so much for his knowledge and research and connections that he's getting updates on, giving us, being able to get us updated to understand that we need to have the mentality of winning here. And that collective consciousness is an important thing, that we are winning in all levels here, in all dimensions. And Lord, thank you for waking us up to these new things. Allow us to be able to just serve you. That's what we really want to do, is serve you. I always ask for there's only truth be in this channel. If there's things that are incorrect that we need to correct, please let us know and we'll correct them. And Lord, we love you and thank you. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
We ask you, God, our one true living God of all love, light, compassion, and creation, to protect our great soldiers and military, defending us and taking back our freedoms and ridding the earth of this satanic evil beneath our feet, on our ground, in our skies, and in our space. We ask you to protect them, their families, bring them home safe and sound to their loved ones. Help them in rescuing the children, and please help the children to recover their lives and have fulfilled and full lives with children and grandchildren. Please help them to heal from this monstrous evil.
Yes, Lord.
That has been visited upon them by these monsters that are terrifying them, kidnapping our children, and in putting upon them great evils, too horrendous to speak of here. You know all. Please help our children to recover and bring them back to their families and their loved ones that miss them greatly. We humbly ask these favors and your protections for our families, our loved ones, and our lives, and our aid in being your army. We stand to rid this evil from the universe. We humbly ask of you these favors in your name, the one true living God of all love, light, compassion, and all creation, in your power and your peace, and in your Holy Spirit, and in your Son, Christ's name. These favors we do ask, and seal this to be so as it is said. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Blessed2Teach show. So again, we will connect with you probably tomorrow night on all these decodes, as well as again Saturday on Operation Mockingbird, Monday on the pineal gland, and what the deep state's doing to try to corrode that, and then again Gene Unleashed backstage probably next Thursday. God bless you guys, and we will catch you next time.